Greetings and welcome to Odd Shots, the show where we come together and we just discuss things. Take shots. No, we discuss things. Today we are discussing Boygenius's EP. I have tricked Jason into listening to that, as some of you have seen What's Spinning for the record. We got that. But today I brought some backup. And there's no better backup than another Joe. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got another Joe in the building. Joe, tell us about who you are. Let's go ahead and give some shameless self promotion, all that fun stuff.
Hey, I'm just an old friend of these fellas and a big fan of Boy Genius. I put out music under the name Putney Swope, and yeah, that's about it. I live in Los Angeles, so yeah,
So,
That's
yeah,
that LA flicker. See, that's the earthquakes.
that's right.
yeah, yeah. It's an earthquake every time you see a flicker, there's an earthquake for sure.
So, Joe, you do music. Where would people find that music?
You can find it on Spotify under Putney Swope. It's named after the old Robert Downey Sr. movie. And then also on Instagram, Putney Swope Music at Putney Swope Music. So
We'll put some links below, hopefully,
sweet.
somewhere in there. We'll
I
probably
can,
misspell it.
I
Probably.
can, I can forward it to you.
Perfect.
That can be handled.
So, Jason, how are you today? Let's before I skip too far.
I'm great. It's nice to have both the Joes. That's why you're Dork Joe, because I already knew a Joe.
That's right. There's a little Joe sandwich for you. We're the bread, you're the meat.
There you go.
Ah, I remember that joke.
That's right. So yeah, that is how I got my name because we already knew a Joe. So they let me. That's how I got Dork Joe. Out of all the nicknames in the world, I have hashtag Hot Joe. I made that one
Hot
up
take
myself.
Joe. All right.
So
Boy Genius.
yeah, Boygenius. While we're wandering around, so this is their EP. It came out. I should have had that in my notes. When did that come out? Anybody have that in their notes?
2018.
2018.
Yes, beautiful. So it
See,
came
I
out.
know more about him than you, Joe.
That's right. So this is kind of where they got together and started everything. They put out an EP together. Obviously, we have Phoebe Bridges, Julian Baker, and Lucy Dacus. Joe, how do you know about Boy Genius? How did you first get into him?
Honestly, I got into the Better Oblivion Community Center when Phoebe did that album with Conor Oberst because I'm a pretty big Bright Eyes fan, and kind of after that, I did the deep dive on her stuff, and then eventually fell into Boy Genius. Um, and then yeah, I was telling you guys before I was listening to so much Phoebe Bridgers that I got recommended the Sad Girl Starter Pack on Spotify, and that's how I found out about Julian and Lucy, and yeah, it's been never ending since.
Awesome. Yeah, and our previous video of what's spinning when we talked about the record, kind of talked about my introduction to him, finding Julian Baker, her cover of Accident Prone. Go watch that video if you want some more of it. But that's kind of I fell in that way to finding them and found Lucy Dacus kind of last through my wife, with her playing albums in the car, and I was like, "Who in the hell is this?" She goes, "Lucy Dacus." I was like, "Oh, I know that name from Boy Genius." So that's kind of rehashing what we said previously. Go watch that video. So this is more of a free flowing show than what we normally do. Jason, talk to me about the EP.
Well, I listened to it. I listened to it after the record because of you. And I don't know. I mean, it's okay. It's got really good lyrics. Not my music. It's kind of slow. I like the record better, honestly.
Joe, give me your first blush of the EP.
Well, I honestly I think these three women are some of the best songwriters in the business right now. They just all write really great lyrics, and I really enjoy, like, I feel like their voices mesh together really well. Like they're very different voices, but the way they've got the harmonies running through this album, and definitely the record has higher production value, I feel. Um, but I overall I like this record or this EP quite a bit. I've listened to it a lot, and with any of their stuff. There's lots of good lyrics to grab onto, and then there are some good like production moments in there too. But
Their vocals together are really good though. Like at the end of Bite the Hand, like all three of them are just singing that I can't love you how you want me to.
yeah,
Like it just meshes together really well together.
Um, and I kind of agree with you a lot on the production value of this. I think I really enjoy all these songs. I think they're great lyrically, even musically they're great. But I'm not a big fan of this EP's recording of them. Listening to the Tiny Desk versions or other live versions I've seen, I was like, man, I love all these songs. They're great. Now I come back and listen to EP, and I'm like, there's just something here that doesn't grab what you know. It doesn't translate from how great the song is live to it being recorded here.
well, you got to think that all three of them were a lot less famous when they made this, so
Mm-hmm.
they probably had a lot less time and money to put into it than they did this new record. People have been jonesing for this record, waiting for this record. So I feel like when they made the EP, they were just kind of trying something out.
And I think it was like a really short recording time, if I remember correctly. Like they knocked it out pretty quick.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think Phoebe only had Stranger in the Alps out at the time, and then that was around when Historian came out with Lucy, and I mean Julian Baker had some stuff out, but yeah, like all of them, their star has risen quite a bit in the 5 years since this came out. So
Absolutely. Phoebe Bridgers blew up with Punisher.
Well, Joe, let me ask you this: Stay Down. Is that about being ignored for a video game lyrically?
It
Because she
could be.
says, "I look at you and you look at a screen," and then later it says, It's a Half Life. It's a Fallout." Like are those video game references or just
I,
You
I
know,
would,
which Joe were you talking to there?
either one?
Okay, go ahead. As a guest, go first there, Joe.
I mean, I definitely think they're video game references. Julian Baker, I don't know if you guys have read up on her at all. She's pretty interesting because she comes from a very religious background in Tennessee, and so she's gay, comes from a very religious background, and still identifies as a religious person. So, like, if you listen to her lyrics, that and "Stay Down," whereas like she talks about you know religion in her life a bit, and like it's interesting because you just don't meet people with that background too often.
My cousin's partner's like that. He's got a religious background.
Um,
I mean, they're out there.
another thing about Julian Baker, she's quite the gearhead. So like I feel like I'd like to sit down and have like a conversation with her just about guitar pedals.
Now, when you said gearhead, I thought you meant like cars and things of that nature.
No, no, no. She's like on her. If you look at her Instagram, she has like little short pedal and synth reviews and things that she does, and I don't know, woman after my own heart, I guess. So
There you go. I have no idea about any of that. I just turn things on and expect them to work, and sometimes they
Yeah,
do.
I had a flanger back in the day. So you play that Nirvana's "Come as You Are."
So my favorite, I think, song off this. Oh, to stay down. Yes, I do believe it's video game references.
Okay.
As the explanation she gives of them isn't of the song doesn't necessarily feature that, but I was like, come on now. You mentioned video games. We mentioned Half Life. You mentioned Fallout. It's got to be. There's got to be something in there. Now, do you believe that she plays like Fallout 76 and Wonders the World, and you don't know you're playing with Julian Baker?
I don't know. I don't play Fallout 76.
Yeah, I don't either. So my favorite song off here is "Souvenir," and I would like to think that the lyric from $20 from the record has something to do with this, even though I know it's it's not necessarily connected, but I'd like to think that anyway. I haven't seen anything written that hey, this $20 comes from "Souvenir," but I like to think it.
Yeah, that always managed to move in right next to the cemeteries and never far from hospitals. I don't know what that tells you about me. Those are really great lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not my style musically, but lyrically, they knock it out of the park.
Well, that lyric, Phoebe also has that song Halloween off of Punisher, where she's talking about hating living next to hospitals. Um, I don't know. I like listening to their music in this group. I definitely see connections between like lyrics
Mm-hmm.
in the Boygenius stuff and their solo stuff, but it's also about their personalities too. So
Yeah, I love
Souvenir is definitely one of my favorite songs though, like on this EP.
I love that you brought up Halloween because I used to joke that someone must be have to be dying if they woke us up.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of that one. I was like, I don't know how far I want to get in that. Hey, Pumpkin's here.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in personal space.
So yeah, Souvenir is probably my favorite. I know that the Me and My Dog, there's a reference on the record for that, and that one's really good. But I kind of like the back half more than I like the front half. So from Souvenir down, I'm pretty much all in. I mean, I like Bite the Hand, I like Me and My Dog, but we get into things that I really, really enjoy from Souvenir below. Salt in the Wound's amazing. Catchable.
That's the one I had as my favorite was Salt in the Wound.
Yeah.
The harmonization on it.
I feel like the back half is more like a collaboration, whereas like the first three songs almost feel like, one person's leading each song
Mm-hmm.
and like the other two kind of chimed in. I will say something that I like Lucy Dacus. Like her voice is so full and it's very unique. But I think I like her best in Souvenir and in Ketchum, Idaho, because like when she comes in and contributes something as opposed to when she's leading the song on the CP and on the record. Like I just feel like there's something really unique about that.
Absolutely. There's a line that she says, and I'm trying to figure out. I can't remember the song here. And it's about performing surgery on her skull and opening up. And said, "Do you? Where's it at? Do you hate the things you see like I do?"
Oh yes,
I'm
such a good
butchering.
line.
I might be butchering that line a little bit, but I had it written down here in my notes to talk about. But I was like, man, that's a hell of a line right there to put into a song, and it's just really kind of subtle. I mean, it's not like we're paying a lot of attention to this line, but I was like, damn, that's one. It is work a midnight surgery when you cut a hole in my skull. Do you hate what you see like I do? In Souvenir, once again, we're back to Souvenir. But I was like, just a fucking punch to gut kind of line.
Um, I really like their use of fuzz pedals in Salt in the Wound. I don't know if you guys noticed that there's a lot of like screaming guitars and a lot of like it feels like they put fuzz pedals on like everything.
That's probably why it
Uh,
was my favorite.
yeah, it's well, it's like a power ballad with all this like messy fuzz all over the place, which is just really nice.
I can't say that I noticed. I could have called out a fuzz pedal there, but I mean, I do love the sound.
One day I'm gonna make you listen to all the Mud Honey. You'll be very well equipped with fuzz pedals.
I'm waiting for that. I'm ready to learn more on as far as like being able to pick out different things that people put, musically or instrumentally pick in, because that's always been my weak point. To be like, oh, I can tell you what we're doing here. I'll be like, oh, I like the sound.
It's still got to teach you how to play Santa Monica by Everclear too.
That's
So.
right. As soon as I get a get fiddle, Patreon, give me one of them get fiddles. We can have a video about Ed teaching an old person how to play guitar. It'd be great. Anything? I mean, what else do we want to get into here? I know it's an EP and only 6 songs, so I don't think we're
Yeah,
beating too much to death. But
I mean, if you ever want to do the rest of their stuff, on the normal channel stuff, we can do that. Make Ed listen to it.
hell yeah.
I mean, I told you this in a message when Ed was out here. It was like last year or the year before. I made him listen to Lucy and Phoebe quite a bit, and he seemed to be into it. It's I guess it was whenever Punisher was nominated for a Grammy because I was playing Phoebe for Ed and he was like how do you find these people? And I'm like, this album's nominated for a Grammy this year. She's not under a rock.
Yeah, it's not like it's hard to find this person. That was Punisher was I think I want to say it was one of my albums of the year for 2020. I know it was one of them. I didn't hear it till afterwards, but then going back, it was like, damn, this may have been the album of the year for 2020.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like my Spotify end of the year, like 20, it was either 2020 or 2020. I think it was 2020. Like it was kind of ridiculous because I got really into Harry Nilsson and really into Phoebe Bridgers at the same time. So it was like Nilsson, 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 Phoebe, 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 Nilsson, 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 and then like if you got far enough down, you started running into like Elliott Smith. But it was mostly like the first like 30 songs for those two people. It was kind of stupid.
We basically ruined our playlist with
Doing the
with
channel.
OVD, yeah, with the channel. My playlist
Oh,
now
you
is
like Lagwagon? You like Leonard Skinner? You like White Stripes? It's like I just want to hear, one thing.
All right. Well, yeah. If I wouldn't mind us visiting some of these other albums by them. I don't know. I don't think they any of them have a full enough discography to do the rant right. Maybe Lucy. Maybe she's got enough for it, but everyone else. Maybe Juliet. I don't know. Phoebe Bridgers does not, which is a shame.
I feel like 3 albums would be the lowest we could go.
Yeah, I'd say 4 is probably where I always looked.
Phoebe's got to be close to having another album. Like she's got to be. I mean, she keeps releasing songs here and there. Like she just put out a song with the National, and oh man, she did that version of Nothing Else Matters that I kind of like better than Nothing Else Matters.
I'll have to listen to that. I haven't seen that one by her.
I know they're on a big tour right now for the record.
Yeah.
They're coming to Houston.
Well, they played Coachella this weekend, and a couple of my friends told me they kind of killed it, but I believe that. So
Yeah, I'm gonna try, and I believe they're coming to Red Rocks in August, so I'm gonna try to jump on that.
It sells out quick.
Yeah,
no,
They're
that's
huge
why
right now.
that's why I didn't go last week because they sold out by the time they went on sale they were sold out, and then I tried to buy tickets and it was like $200.
It's not like the old days where you just stand out by a pawn shop all night to get our tickets.
Yeah. Also though, it's not like the old days. I have kids and I can't stand out many places all night, right? But
that's true. I forgot all about standing outside of a pawn shop or somewhere for tickets. That's right.
I got many stories for that one.
yeah, me too.
All right, gang. Well, I think that's a good wrap for us there. This has been an odd shot. We've talked about Boygenius EP. Tell us your favorite song off the EP in the comments below, or join our Discord. We've got a Patreon where we like to do fun things also. We've got silver tier, we've got a gold tier, we've got a bronze tier, not in that order. Silver tier at the bottom. You get exclusive videos, and your gold tier, you get to help us pick things that we get to rant and rank about, or we get to do our top songs, album art, all that fun stuff. So come join the Patreon and make these fools listen to Lucy Dawkins, especially Ed. Everyone say,
Yeah.
Ed, we miss you. Joe, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. I appreciate having someone else who knows about the band to
I don't have
enlighten
much.
Jason.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's good catching up.
I've spent a whopping 3 weeks with this band,
Yeah.
so still haven't heard any of the solo stuff.
Oh, dude, Punisher. Wow.
So good.
Stranger in the Alps is pretty great too.
I'll try and fit it in somewhere between these 14 freaking Weezer albums we have to
That's
listen to
right.
for the next video.
Well, until we see you next time, y'all stay safe, make good decisions.